Let's talk about something new. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Scary movies. I just don't think scary movies are scary. And I feel like the best revelation of this was about a month ago. I had been putting off renting the movie It, the new It. Well, the new that came out a couple years ago, because I know they got It too. But, oh, everyone's talking about this movie. So, nothing else was at Redbox. I picked up It, and so my wife was like, oh, my wife's like, oh, I hope it's not too scary, whatever, I guess. We made it through about an hour before I turned it off. Because it was too scary? No, because it was too stupid. It was too stupid of a movie, and I couldn't make it past an hour of it. And that was the revelation I had of movies just aren't scary to me. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that actually scared me, because for me, I can't buy into the concept that I'm supposed to be afraid of some kind of demon that takes the form of a clown, and then he takes form of whatever your fears are and capitalizes on that, and then he eats you, but he might not eat you. If you're a main character, he won't eat you. So he scares you right before he kills you. Then what's the point of that? If he wants to eat a human being, why doesn't he just eat the human being? Why scare you first? Just the concept of being scared from a movie. And it's like, granted, I've seen a lot of, quote, scary movies or horror movies. I mean, when I was in high school was when the original Scream movie came out. And it was a very enjoyable movie. It's a thriller, but as far as scared, I mean, nothing scared me about the movie. I mean, it's one thing when you're a kid, I mean, and maybe like when I was a kid back in the 80s, there was like this movie called Critters about these little aliens with big teeth. Okay, that seems scary. And like, okay, like the Freddy Krueger and Jason movies, I guess, seem scary as a kid, but it's like, as an adult, like, none of this is real. This is just stuff people made up. So I wrote down a few things that I guess, if something's creepy, I guess that is the closest I can get to being scared, or just being creeped out. But a killer clown, not creepy at all to me. So here's let's talk about Willy Wonka. And the Chocolate Factory, 1971. I own it. I love it. I've seen it more times than I can count. I even have the soundtrack of it. I love the soundtrack. I love the movie. It was made 10 years before I was born. But that's a pretty creepy movie. I mean, it's great, but it's just, there's something very creepy about the whole thing. The Oompa Loompas, that's kind of creepy. When they're in that claustrophobic, like, hallway. Even, like, the scratch and sniff wallpaper. Like, it's just got a major creep factor going on to it. The fact that a grown man is murdering children. By the way, have you seen my other video where I identify with the fan theory that it was rigged the whole time for Charlie to win? The Candyman sings the song The Candyman again. He specifically hands Charlie a specific candy bar that's on the shelf, talking him out of buying the one he wanted to get. So there's some creepiness involved in that movie. And then also, on another movie I own, I don't even know why I own it, but Chitty Bang Bang. A movie made a couple years before that one, made by the same guy. I think the producer, Albert Broccoli, is like an Italian. So he made those movies, and that's a creepy movie. It's Dick Van Dyke and the main character, which for some reason he has an American accent, though he's in England, and his kids have a British accent, an English accent, and his father has an English accent, but he has an American accent. That makes no sense. It's funny because he was in Mary Poppins, which I've never seen, where he's known as an American who has a very horrible English accent. So maybe after that, like, fine, just speak normal. Everything else about your family will be British, English. You won't be. That's a pretty creepy movie. Have you ever seen Chitty Bang Bang? I mean, especially when they go into that dream sequence, which takes place for like, it's like a third of the movie, but you don't realize until the movie's over that all that one part of the movie was all a dream. But they go to that Bulgaria land or whatever, the weird king and queen. I think kings and queens are creepy. That's something that creeps me out. It's just like, ugh. So yeah, Chitty Bang Bang is pretty creepy. Wizard of Oz, oh man. As a kid, I was afraid of that movie, The Witch and all that. But The Witch isn't even the scary thing. I mean, yes, the flying monkey's very creepy. But the whole premise of it is just really weird. The mutant lion, the Tin Man, everybody's creepy in that movie. And then the Munchkins, and then, it's a weird scary dream that I wouldn't want to be a part of. So very scary movie. If anything's a scary movie, Wizard of Oz is. Oh, going back to Willy Wonka. Let's talk about the ferry boat scene, right? When he's going through, like, he even says, he talks about hell in the actual thing. In a G-rated movie, he's talking about hell. And then you see a chicken get its head cut off. Like, what? So I think some of the scariest movies, in theory, creepy or whatever, are rated G or PG. That's how I personally feel about it. What else did I write on here? E.T. Okay, so E.T. 1982. I was a year old when it came out. Here's something interesting about E.T. You know, Steven Spielberg movie. E.T., if you go back and watch it, which is such a groundbreaking movie from my youngest years. In fact, one of my first memories was seeing E.T. when they brought it back the second summer in 1983. My parents took me to see it, and I clearly remember seeing it. It's one of my first memories of my life. I was 2 years old, summer of '83, going to see it, and I remember I cried when E.T., you know, and this was the good ending, is that, spoiler alert for a movie that's 37 years old, but at the end, when E.T. finds his family, whatever, and they take him back in the spaceship, and he flies away, and Elliot's sad, I was crying the whole way out of the theater. And my mom's trying to console me. She's like, well, you can call grandma when you get home and tell her about it. So somehow I called my grandma and told her what happened, and it made me feel better, I guess. That was the solution as a parent. Here, drink some water. That'll make you feel better. It was almost like one of those things. I was itching like for the last 2 minutes. I didn't want it to be distracting, but man, I got itchy all of a sudden. So let's talk about E.T. If you go back and watch E.T. now, it's actually... it has kind of the formula of a horror movie. The music, the suspense, the drama. You know, when E.T. gets sick, it really is a horror movie, but it's rated PG and it's more of a sci-fi movie. But it follows the formula of what I submit to you as a horror type movie. Now let's talk about Jaws, and this will be the last one. One of the best movies ever made. A PG rated movie about a killer shark that's hardly even in the movie. By default, I tell you that the actual villain isn't so much the shark, but the mayor, who insists on keeping the beach open so that, you know, it'll bring revenue into the town. Who he should have closed the beach until the shark went away, or they got rid of it, but he didn't. That's, to me, the real villain. Just like in the movie Frozen, the real villain is the parents for psychologically messing up their daughters, locking them in their rooms, not letting them see each other because one of them was a witch. Instead of sorting that out, they're just like, oh, go in your own rooms. And then they die and then become Tarzan's parents. Yes, this is basically a confirmed fan theory that the producers, you know, the writers have admitted that when Elsa and Anna's parents got lost at sea, they ultimately ended up on land, had a child, a boy, Tarzan, and then they died. So Anna, Elsa, and Tarzan are full siblings. With that being said, we're talking about Jaws. Yeah, okay. What are they talking? So the real villain is the parents in Frozen, but the real villain ultimately is the mayor. But because he allows all that to happen, this shark, you know, starts killing all these people. Great movie. Scary? Not scary, but it definitely follows the horror formula. Very well written, very well acted. It's not even a movie so much about the shark. It's great character development. But I just think it's interesting. These movies I'm talking about that I'm really passionate about, or saying these are good movies, yet maybe they're kind of creepy or whatever, I'm not really talking about R-rated movies. I did reference Scream, but it was a fun movie, but it's not like I was scared. Maybe it's because I'm a grown man and I'm just not scared of things. I'm not going to sit down and watch a movie like, oh no, what if that happens? No, I just don't. I've mentioned it at the beginning of the summer too. It's like, as a grown man, I don't have fears and anxieties. I just don't. I'm like, I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of bad things that could happen to me. I hope they don't happen. But I'm not going to live my life in fear and have a panic attack over, oh no, what if? You know, I focus on what I can control, not on what I can't. So I think maybe that's ultimately the answer on why I don't think movies are scary, is because ultimately I'm not a person who lives in fear or an anxiety of bad things happening. Yes, they could happen, but That's no way to live your life in fear like that. So maybe that's the reason why movies just aren't scary. I mean, things can be creepy in life, but scary, not for me. Can anyone agree with me? Can anyone disagree? The answer is always yes. It's YouTube. Of course you can disagree. But can you agree? Can anybody? Comments right here.